I hiked the entire Trans-Catalina Trail in 27 hours by rucking nonstop through the night without camping, and here's how it went. The TCT is normally a 3 to 5 day trek, but after reading a blog post that said it specifically can't be done inside of a single day unless you're a trail runner, I felt compelled to see just how quickly I could cover that 38.5 mile expanse. I took the ferry from Long Beach over to Avalon and stepped off at close to noon. The first stretch of actual hiking from Hermit Gulch Campground follows some gradual switchbacks that link up to Divide Road, offering sweeping views of the Pacific that make the initial 1,400-foot climb over the first few miles fly by. There was minimal rain forecasted, and it showed up as a mild drizzle that accompanied dusk as the winter landscape of dead cacti and gray brush stretched into a blur. I began jogging down hills to make up time, and I reached Blackjack Campground just after nightfall. A rejuvenating hot meal of food slop out of a bag later, and I began to gear up for the night, swapping over to my night vision setup. It's worth noting here that night vision still relies on ambient lunar light to operate, and the cloud cover and waning moon weren't providing any of that, but I stepped off into the void nonetheless, with the winds picking up and the drizzle turning into a steady rain. I moved through the pitch black tar, feeling like I had the situation under control, but that steady rain really hit hard at 14 miles in near the Catalina airport. Angry winds whipped the deluge into my face, and my headlamp's beam barely cut through the dense mist. My Fjallraven High Coast jacket kept me dry enough, but my pants and shoes had totally soaked through. There's something uniquely claustrophobic about hiking alone at night in total darkness, and that feeling of isolation is even more amplified when you're now wet to boot. Making good time on the approach to Little Harbor, I saw large shadows in the dark that made my heart sink. A herd of bison grazing in the pasture just off the trail. Now, I'm an experienced outdoorsman, but this was pretty spooky. Using a thermal monocle, I carefully navigated around them, being sure to give them the wide berth that they deserve, and once clear, zoomed off towards Little Harbor Campground in earnest. After reaching camp around midnight, I paused briefly to top off on caffeine and calories and began the trek to Two Harbors. The climb out of Little Harbor is brutal, a 1,200-foot ascent over 2 miles, including a punishing 36% grade segment that felt like a lot for the witching hour. Fierce winds and another downpour hit me in both body and spirit as I descended into Two Harbors, but I finally arrived around 4 a.m. By sunrise, I knew I wouldn't be catching the 11 a.m. boat I had booked home, but watching dawn break over the island reinvigorated my weary being. The flat stretch to Parsons Landing was stunning, with turquoise waters, morning pastels, and barking sea lions keeping me company. After refueling at Parsons, I tackled the final climb, a monstrous 1,700-foot ascent with grades nearing 50% up Fenceline Road. Come on, man. At the summit, I finally felt that sense of victory wash over me, and my psychotic endeavor was rewarded with sweeping panoramic views of Catalina that made the suffering feel worth it. An equally steep descent took me back into town by 3 p.m. for a total of 42 miles over 27 hours, and I don't know, feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm actually in like an incredible amount of pain.